Welcome to Deep Dive by the Quiet Footnote.
Eh.
So if you're like most people, you probably have a pretty strong reaction one way or the other to the name Marie Kondo.
Oh, absolutely. Love her. Or maybe roll your eyes a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So today we're kind of cutting through all that organizational hype around the life-changing magic of tidying up. We want to figure out what her philosophy actually offers you, especially now, when maybe your chaos isn't so much messy drawers, but more like a totally swamped inbox or just feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, that's really the mission here, isn't it? We've got to look past the folding techniques, as clever as they are, and see that this book isn't just about cleaning.
Right.
It's got this surprisingly deep psycho-spiritual core. When she wrote it, she wasn't just tackling physical stuff. She was hitting on this deep emotional paralysis linked to having, well, too much.
Okay.
And that's why her ideas are, I think, incredibly relevant today, because the clutter hasn't gone away. It's shifted. It's digital noise now, cognitive load.
So the real test then is, can this system actually bring you clarity? Not just, a tidier house. We're trying to translate that spirit from physical things, your clothes, your books, into the stuff that really weighs on us now. Commitments, your calendar.
Your digital life, absolutely.
Yeah. Because her whole philosophy kind of boils down to this pretty challenging idea, doesn't it? That the clutter outside is basically a mirror.
A mirror to the inner chaos, the stuff we haven't dealt with.
Exactly. And she nails it with that one line, which feels like our guide for today. The question of what you want to own is actually the question of how you want to live your life.
It's powerful, isn't it? The goal isn't just a neat closet, it's clarity. Clarity about who you are, how you want to live.
Okay, so if we run with that idea, clutter is a mirror.
Yeah.
What was the actual problem she saw? It wasn't just mess itself, was it?
No, not really. It was what she called the rebound. This endless cycle of tidying up, people would clean, things look good for a bit.
And then it all comes back.
Exactly, because they were just dealing with the symptom, the surface mess. They never got to the root cause, which is often, this deep emotional attachment, maybe even fear, that stops us letting go of things.
So if that attachment is the root, how does she suggest breaking the cycle? I mean, it really comes down to that famous phrase, doesn't it?
It does. Keep what sparks joy. Tokimeku.
Tokimeku.
And that's the revolutionary bit, because it asks you to basically ditch logic. How useful is it? How much did it cost? Should I keep it just in case?
All that mental calculation.
Right. And instead, trust your gut, your intuition. Does this thing, this object, actually light something up inside you?
Which turns tidying from just a chore into, well, almost like self-discovery.
It really is a dialogue with yourself. But importantly, that intuition doesn't just appear. It gets trained through some very specific practices she lays out.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, she's adamant. Tidying is a one-time huge event, like a festival.
A festival, not just chipping away at it.
No, definitely not drip by drip. It has to be this conscious, intense reset. Otherwise, you lose momentum, you get discouraged, and you relapse. Back to square one.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, the sequence is critical. Discarding first. Get rid of stuff before you even think about organizing or buying storage bins.
Ah, so reduce before you rearrange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because she rightly points out that fancy storage is just cosmetic surgery if you haven't dealt with the sheer volume first. You're just hiding the problem.
Okay, discard first. Then what?
Third is her strict order for categories. This is really clever psychology. You start with clothes, relatively easy decisions for most people.
Right.
Then books, papers, Kondo, that's all the miscellaneous stuff.
The random drawer items?
Yeah, that drawer. And you build up your decision-making muscle, your joy-spotting ability. So by the time you get to the really tough stuff.
Sentimental items.
Photos, letters.
Exactly, the highly emotional things. By then, you've hopefully developed the strength, the clarity to assess them honestly, and, if necessary, let them go with grace, not agony. And then there are the practical bits everyone knows, like the folding, the vertical storage.
Yeah, the file method folding. But the genius there isn't just that it saves space, it's about visibility.
Ah, because stacking hides things.
Precisely. Stacking creates visual noise, you forget what you have. Vertical storage makes everything visible at a glance. It forces you to be accountable for what's there. It just calms the visual field.
Okay, and there's one more piece, isn't there? The thanking.
Oh yes, the ritual of thanking objects before you let them go. This is really important. It comes from Shinto ideas, treating objects with a kind of respect.
Instead of just binning them with disgust or guilt.
Exactly. It reframes disposal. It's not failure or waste. It's acknowledging the object served its purpose, and now you're releasing it. It turns guilt into gratitude. It's quite profound, actually.
So stepping back a bit,
Yeah.
it feels like she wasn't just teaching folding, she was busting some major myths about housekeeping, right? What were the big ones she challenged?
Oh, definitely. The first huge one was that tidying is just a never-ending chore. Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the hill forever.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
She basically said, no, if you do this properly, this big reset, once, you fundamentally change your relationship with stuff. You change your habits. The need for that massive, soul-crushing clear out again, it just disappears. Maintenance, yes, but not the big overhaul.
Okay, but doesn't that put a lot of pressure on the person? I mean, even if I change, life happens. Stuff comes in gifts, mail, kids' artwork. How does the system handle the ongoing inflow?
That's a fair point, and maybe something the first book wasn't as explicit about, but the underlying idea is transformation. If you've truly honed that spark joy sense.
You stop bringing so much junk home in the first place.
Exactly. You become more of a conscious curator of your life rather than just a passive consumer. It tackles the input, not just the existing pile.
Okay, what other myths did she debunk? The storage one feels big.
Huge. The whole world seemed to think the answer to clutter was better storage. More boxes, more shelves, complex systems.
Guilty.
We all were. And she just cut through it. Storage is cosmetic. The problem isn't the container, it's the contents. You don't need clever ways to hide stuff. You need less stuff to hide.
Simple, but hard to argue with.
Right. And she also pushed back against the idea that decluttering has to be this, ruthless, cold process.
Like you're battling your belongings.
Yeah. Her method insists on gratitude. You release things with respect, acknowledging their service. It's emotionally much healthier than feeling shame or disdain for the things you're getting rid of.
And the location thing, that was a big one too. Tidying the bedroom, then the kitchen.
The fatal flaw, she'd say. She insisted. Tidy by category. Drag every single shirt, every book, every pot and pan you own into one giant pile.
Ugh, sounds terrifying.
It is, but that's the point. You have to confront the sheer volume, the reality of your excess.
Yeah.
You can't deny it when it's all piled up in front of you. That confrontation is essential for the change to stick.
So by doing all this, linking it to intuition and gratitude, she really elevated it, didn't she?
Absolutely. She took it from a domestic chore and turned it into, a kind of mindfulness practice, rooted in Shinto ideas, self-reflection. She challenged the whole status quo by saying, essentially, tidying can be a spiritual act.
Okay, so we've got the framework for physical stuff. But here's the big question for today. How does any of this hold up now? In 2025, with AI, endless digital files, information overload, does it still work?
I think it's more relevant, actually, because the clutter hasn't vanished. It's just shape-shifted. It's gone digital, mental, emotional.
Right. It's not piles of paper. It's thousands of emails, endless open tabs.
Notifications constantly pinging, the feeling you have to consume all the news, hoarding digital files just in case. It's the same pattern, different medium.
So how do we apply Spark Joy to, say, an app or a newsletter subscription?
That's the translation work we need to do. Spark joy for physical things is often quick, visceral. For digital, we need to ask, does this cost my energy and attention, or does it genuinely add value? Does it align with how I want to feel and live?
Because every notification, every subscription we keep without thinking has a tiny hidden cost.
A cognitive cost, exactly. We accept it without really questioning. Kondo's method forces the question.
So a digital KonMari would mean what? Applying the category rule.
Yes. Don't just delete emails sporadically. Maybe. Confront your entire digital subscription list at once. Look at all your photo folders, not just one. Assess all your social media apps together.
Oof. Confront the digital pile.
Confront the cognitive load. Ask, do these digital things truly reflect the intentional life, the identity I'm trying to build now? Or are they relics of who I used to be or who I thought I should be?
It's fascinating because it runs so counter to the prevailing culture, doesn't it? The culture of more.
Absolutely. Buy more, subscribe to more, consume more information, keep more tabs open. Kondo's philosophy is fundamentally about less but better. Owning, subscribing to, committing to fewer things, but things that genuinely resonate, appreciating them more deeply.
It's about intentionality.
Exactly. Now, we should acknowledge, the original book wasn't big on sustainability, like where does all the discarded stuff go? That's a valid criticism.
Yeah, that's come up a lot since.
It has. But her thinking has evolved. Her later work focuses more on kurashi, this Japanese idea of way of life or lifestyle. It's less about achieving a perfect, sterile state.
Like a show home.
Right. And more about the quality, the feeling, the intentionality of the daily life you live within your space, physical or digital.
Okay, so if we try to boil all this down for someone listening,
Yeah.
what are the absolute core principles? Maybe like 5 key takeaways.
Okay, let's try. 1. Joy is your ultimate filter. Trust your intuition, that feeling of tohimeku, more than fear-based logic like, what if I need it later?
Good one. 2,
Discard first, then organize. Always. Subtraction is the first step to simplicity. Get rid of the noise before you try to arrange it.
3.
Tidy. Completely, not incrementally. That one-time big bang approach is designed for psychological transformation, not just a quick cleanup. It breaks the old patterns.
4 has to be the gratitude thing.
Yes, treat things physical or digital, even past experiences, with gratitude and respect. That's how you release them without guilt or shame holding you back.
And 5, the big one we started with.
Outer order reflects inner alignment. Your environment, including your digital space, is a direct readout of your internal state. Cleaning it up helps clear your head and heart too.
Those are powerful. Let's talk quotes, too. Her writing is full of these concise, impactful lines. What are some standouts?
Well, the one we already mentioned is huge. The question of what you want to own is actually the question of how you want to live your life.
Still resonates. It links everything back to identity.
Every choice, big or small, physical or digital, shapes that identity. Okay, another one. Keep only those things that speak to your heart, then take the plunge and discard all the rest.
That take the plunge part feels key. It requires courage.
It does. It's about trusting that joy, that resonance, is a better guide than anxiety or FOMO, fear of missing out, which makes us hoard things just in case.
Okay, third quote.
When you put your house in order, you put your affairs and your past in order too.
Ah, the psychological healing aspect.
Yes. Clearing the physical or digital clutter isn't just superficial. It actively helps process the past, clear out old emotional baggage, free up mental energy. You're literally making space.
Number 4.
Tidying is a dialogue with yourself through your possessions.
I like that. It implies it's an active, ongoing conversation.
And an honest one. Every item you hesitate over, every file you keep for later, it's a conversation you're potentially avoiding about your habits, your dreams, your fears. Tidying forces that dialogue.
And the last one, the promise at the end.
Life truly begins after you have put your house in order.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
It is. But the idea is that the space you create, physical, mental, temporal, isn't just emptiness. It's potential. It's the clear ground where new habits, new directions, maybe even a new version of yourself can finally take root without being choked by the weeds of the past.
Okay, so we have the principles, the inspiration. How do we actually do this now? In our messy, digital, overwhelming world? What are the best practices?
Right, the practical application. First, we need that digital KonMari. Seriously, apply the tidy by category rule to your digital life.
So like tackled all cloud storage at once, all photos, all subscriptions.
Yes. Don't just clean one folder or unsubscribe from one email list. Confront the totality of your digital footprint in that category. See the real scale of it. That's the only way to make meaningful change, not just tinker.
Okay, scary but necessary. What else?
Second, prioritize clarity over control. Before you layer on a new productivity system or app, subtract. What commitments, subscriptions, mental clutter, even old beliefs can you discard first? Removing the obsolete is often way more powerful than adding something new.
Get rid of the drag before trying to speed up.
Precisely. Third, tidying time. Apply the spark joy filter ruthlessly to your calendar and commitments. Does this meeting energize you or drain you? Does this recurring task align with your core goals?
And she had that idea about an empty day.
Yeah. Subtly suggested keeping maybe one day a week intentionally unscheduled, a sacred pause. That unstructured space can be incredibly valuable for clarity and creativity. More valuable than a perfectly color-coded calendar sometimes.
Makes sense. Fourth practice.
Emotional decluttering. Actively use that gratitude practice. When you let go of a project or relationship, even a past mistake you keep replaying, thank it. Thank it for the lesson, for the experience, and consciously release the emotional residue, the guilt, the regret, the self-judgment.
Release with grace again.
Always. And finally, number 5, build joy rituals. Small, consistent acts that maintain the clarity you achieve.
Not just the big clear out, but daily upkeep.
But make it feel good, like a 2-minute reset of your desk, physical and digital, before you sign off, wiping down your phone screen with intention, taking care of the tools that support you. These small acts of reverence, of care, reduce the need for massive overhauls later. Care replaces control.
So when we pull all this together, what's the deeper message? The thing maybe people miss if they only focus on the folding.
I think the unheard message is that tidying in her system is actually a rehearsal for liberation.
Liberation. How so?
She's teaching you the incredibly difficult skill of disentangling your identity, your soul, from your stuff. And by learning to let go of objects, emails, old commitments, you're practicing letting go of outdated versions of yourself. You're making space for who you are becoming.
Wow. So it's not just about this stuff at all.
Not fundamentally. Remember, the goal isn't some sterile, perfect house or inbox. It's what she might call a tidy heart. A clear mental and emotional space where joy, focus, and intentionality actually have room to breathe.
So the method is a tool, a compass.
Exactly. A compass pointing towards authenticity, not a rigid rule book for perfection. And if we think about information today, like physical stuff, hoarding articles, podcasts, courses out of FOMO is just as cluttering as hoarding clothes you never wear.
Okay, so final thought for everyone listening. If tidying, digital or physical, really forces you to confront who you were, to make space for who you want to become, what version of yourself, what old story, what digital relic are you ready to genuinely thank and gently let go of this week? Maybe that's the place to start your own one-time transformation, even if it's just one category, like that terrifying email inbox.
That's the challenge. Start the dialogue. See what sparks joy.